Good morning. Welcome back to the Bout Some Football podcast, episode 6. I'm your host, Kyle, and today I'll be going over a preview and a prediction for the upcoming NFC Conference Championship game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Green Bay Packers. As expected for any playoff game in Lambeau, temperatures are predicted to be around mid-20s, about 22 to 28 degrees, with a 40% chance of snowfall and at kickoff, and it only increases as the game goes on. Nothing new for Green Bay, and especially nothing new for MVP Aaron Rodgers. That's not a prediction, that's a fact. Injury report looks clean for the Packers. Didn't take any hits in their 32-18 victory over the Los Angeles Rams. Official reports won't release till later today, but for right now, it's looking really promising for the number one seed in the NFC. For the Buccaneers, the one notable injury would be Antonio Brown, who tweaked his knee in their win over the Saints, but currently he is day-to-day and is on track to be ready to play for the game on Sunday. The Buccaneers also promoted linebacker Deion Buchanan, who recently played for the Arizona Cardinals, to the active roster and also activated inside linebacker Kevin Minter off the COVID list. It is going to get some depth back at that linebacker position, one of their most skilled groups with players like Lavonte David and Devin White. Speaking of Devin White, I was looking at some stats, I was checking some things, and excluding Week 17, which he missed, he has yet to miss a single snap on the field while active for a game. This is extremely important for a player that is considered the quarterback of the defense to be out there all the time, making sure everything goes according to plan and make sure the plays are executed correctly. And it makes sense why he was named captain during the offseason. In only his second year, he's been extremely impressive. He's improved in every facet of the game since his rookie year. He went from 92 tackles last year to 140 this year, 2.5 sacks to 9, and also matched his rookie season interception count with his interception versus the Saints. Devin White has been a key factor for this huge jump that the Buccaneers defense has actually taken over the last year. Last year in 2019, they ranked the 15th ranked defense, first in rush defense, which is incredibly impressive, but the downfall of that is they were 30th ranked for their pass defense. Well, this year in 2020, they were again first ranked in rush defense, very impressive for back-to-back years, and improved from 30th ranked pass defense to the 20th ranked pass defense. They would end up finishing this year with the 6th ranked defense in the league. That jump from 30 to 20 doesn't really seem too impressive because, I can sit here and say they're still a bottom half defense of the league. They're not even top 10 yet. Is it really a playoff defense with that? Or not even top 10 in pass defense wise? Is it really suitable for the playoffs if you can't defend versus the pass that well? But the improvement doesn't really show that they cut off nearly 30 more yards less passing allowed per game and also tacked on 3 more interceptions this year. Other factors that improved are rookie Antonio Winfield Jr.'s impressive play, son of Antonio Winfield Sr., who played for the Seahawks and one other team. It'll come to me. And, of course, Lavonte David's dominance that he's shown year in and year out. Now, the only piece of this Buccaneers defense that I wish could have been more impressive so far this year would be Shaquille Barrett. And if he could repeat the dominance that he had last year, Barrett would put up 45 solo tackles and 19.5 sacks, league high, and also his career high in a year in a contract year. Well, this year, in the offseason, they decided to franchise tag him, and his solo tackles go from 45 to 43, so not that big of a fall. But where the real downfall is, he went from 19.5 sacks to 8 sacks on the year. I expect him in the offseason to sign a pretty nice contract, somewhere in the range of $12 to $18 million. I'd say around 17.5 probably. I believe his franchise tag was sitting right around $17.5 million. Might have been 18. But this offseason, and I really hope that he goes out and performs the same way he did in 2019 for whatever team he ends up playing for. For the key matchup of this game, I think it's going to be the young and impressive coach versus the old veteran coach, and that would be Matt LaFleur versus Bruce Arians. Both coaches have incredible offensive minds, and they're very offensive-oriented. For LaFleur, all 10 of his coaching jobs before he became the head coach of the Packers were either an offensive assistant, a quarterback's coach, or an offensive coordinator. This stems from his playing time when he spent 2 years playing wide receiver at Western Michigan University, and then would transfer to Saginaw Valley State, a Division II school, where he would finish his last 2 years of eligibility as a quarterback. He would lead that team to the Division II playoffs both years. As for Bruce Arians, his story is somewhat the same, at least the idea that only spent time on offense, whereas all of his coaching experience came from multiple positions on the offense side of the ball or head coach. He did play quarterback at Virginia Tech, where he would actually get his first coaching job after graduating, becoming an offensive graduate assistant, and he would then coach all positions on offense, excluding offensive lines, then coach quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end. And, of course, offensive coordinator for a few teams, including the Steelers, and head coach for a few teams, which is the Cardinals and then the Buccaneers now. I'm very interested to see what each coach is planning to do for this game. Both have future Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Both have impressive wide receiver cores. I mean, that Buccaneers is top-notch, top level, easily top 3 in the league with Evans, Goodwin, Brown, and I mean, even like Scotty Miller, classic Tom Brady. You gotta get that 5'9" white wide receiver. It looks like he came out of like Kmart yesterday. No offense, Scotty Miller. He just fits the type. You have the Danny Amendola, the Wes Welkers, the Julian Edelmans. It works for Tom Brady. And same way with Green Bay, Devontae Adams is just easily the best wide receiver. Not easily, but considered the top wide receiver in the league, competing with Stephon Diggs. And I mean, he's got other targets out there like Robert Tonyan, Marquise Valdez Stanton. I'm kind of blanking on a few other ones, but he's got other decent targets out there. And I think also two of the most underrated running back crews, with both having two talented running backs, Tampa Bay with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones Jr., and Packers with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, a rookie. Both are going up against top 10 defense. Packers are, I believe, 9 with Tampa Bay, of course, 6. Discussed that earlier. I say the key for the Packers is going to be get Aaron Rodgers hot. You want him hitting all of his throws. You need this man playing his best football if you really want any chance to win. He showed that when you don't play your best football in Week 6 when he played Tampa Bay, they're not going to win. They got blown out 38-10. I fully expect him to come out and play his best football, though. I mean, he is the MVP of this year, and there isn't a single player on that field who's had an impressive as a season as Aaron Rodgers has had this year. And this is incredible because it's his 16th NFL season. Over the entire playoff football career for Aaron Rodgers, when reaching a QBR of at least 100, he's went 9-1 these games, and he's had a 27-2 touchdown to interception ratio. The only loss that he had was his second year as a starter, his first actual playoff game, where he would lose a wildcard game to the Arizona Cardinals 45-51. And yes, if you're wondering if you ever keep track of it, that's scoregami. I'm sure a few people are a little bit confused on that. But in that game, Rodgers would put up 423 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, a fumble, and one of his 2 interceptions in those 10 games that I chose from came from this wildcard game. I'm not going to guarantee it. Actually, no, I am going to guarantee it. If Aaron Rodgers goes out there and throws for 250 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and has a QBR of at least 100, they will not lose. For the Buccaneers, they need to get their entire offense involved, and it really starts with Tom Brady. And in a recent interview, Bruce Arians said that Brady has been allowed to coach in Tampa Bay, something that he wasn't really able to do with Bill Belichick as his coach. Bruce Arians gave him that leniency to kind of like take control of what the offense really decides to do. So Brady and Arians need to set up this game plan where they can get all their offensive weapons involved. They need to be able to spread the ball out well with receiving threats, that being like Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Gronk, Scotty Miller, even Johnson, that rookie wide receiver who had that incredible sideline catch versus the Saints. Just being able to spread the ball out is going to be important because you can start targeting that third and fourth string cornerbacks on the Packers because you don't want to really target Jair Alexander, who's going to be covering the top wide receiver, most likely Mike Evans, and then you really don't want to target Kevin King either, who's been incredibly impressive over the last year, who will most likely be covering either Godwin or Antonio Brown. So you want to target that third cornerback, which is most likely going to be guarding Antonio Brown if he does play. You also want to get that run game involved with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. And here's what I think the Buccaneers should do going into this game. I think they should take a play out of the Browns playbook, and I want you to play Ronald Jones for the majority of the first 3 quarters. Then right at the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, that's why I want you to bring Leonard Fournette in for his first few carries. He's going to come in, fresh legs, right off the bench, and finish the game. If the Buccaneers can get their run game involved throughout the entire game, they can control the clock, and they can pretty much control their own destiny. Why worry about what Aaron Rodgers can do with the ball if he just doesn't get it? Final predictions, though. I'm going to take the Packers 35-29. I do know that the Packers got blown out in Tampa Bay earlier, but I don't think Rodgers is going to come out and play like he did there with 0 touchdowns, 2 receptions. He's going to come out with vengeance, and he's going to want to get back to the Super Bowl. It's been 10 years. Like to see it. That's the end of this episode for Packers versus Bucks. There will be a AFC Conference Championship preview and prediction, most likely either tomorrow or the next day. Like, subscribe, and have a good one.